actually see the water. How far from the water are you?
I'd say we're about a kilometer away from the water, anywhere between 500 meters and a kilometer away. I can see it, where high ground. There are some buildings out between where we are and the water, but we can see it pretty clearly. We can see a couple of big boats, maybe almost ships in the water. They seem steady. They don't seem to be moving. The water seems calm where we can see it right now. But if you look at a map and you look at where Centaury is, you'll notice that there are a lot of sort of various coves almost, so we're not looking at, just a constant coastline here. We're looking more at one of the coves here, one of the coves that was particularly affected by the tsunami a few days ago.
Okay, so we're following two now ongoing breaking situations. One possible, according to officials that Sanjay has heard from, a possible 3-meter wave heading towards shore. Again, I don't want to make that sound more dramatic than it may sound, or than it should sound. A 3-meter wave. Again, we can't confirm that independently. That's what sources are telling Sanjay. People are seeking higher ground in the area he's in. We've also now, NHK reporting that smoke has risen from one of the reactors at the Fukushima plant, one of the plants in Fukushima, the Daiichi plant. Smoke has been seen rising from one of the reactors. We're going to talk with Jim Walsh about that. Okay, we're showing live pictures right now of that facility. And again, Andrew, what was it again? It was smoke from reactor number 1, and what was from reactor 3? Some sort of a blast reported by NHK at reactor number 3. Do we still have Jim Walsh with us? If we do, Jim, if you could just I know you went over it once, but what would explain a blast at reactor number 3 and smoke out of reactor number 1?
I can speak to the second one better than I can speak to the first. Essentially what may have happened at unit number 3, and again, we don't know, but this is something that government officials publicly warned about earlier in the day, Cooper. And it's what we saw at unit number 1 yesterday, which was you have a buildup of hydrogen, it ignites, and then blows off, explodes. And in the case of unit number 1 yesterday, it didn't do so inside the reactor, it did so in the reactor building. So you had the concrete, which is essentially the concrete housing the reactor, collapse, and then you saw a big cloud of dust. But the reactor itself was not compromised, and the containment vessel was not compromised. So it was, not a welcome event, but it wasn't something that was terrible. This is something Japanese officials were worrying about. They were sort of, making a devil's bargain. Do you vent some of this pressure, some of the vapor? You have to, so you don't have something horrible happen. But if you do that, then you run other risks. And this was one of the other risks. Now, as to unit number 1, if there's new smoke at unit number 1, I think that's open to speculation. I can't comment on what might be causing that, but clearly that's already a compromised plant. Earlier in the day, we had gotten good news about unit number 1, that they had made progress in flooding it with seawater. Even though the seawater was going to, kill the plant forever, it at least had the positive effect of cooling it down. So people were feeling pretty good about unit 1 through the course of the day. And if there's smoke there, it's unclear what that would mean.